Welcome back to Chat Like a Native, everybody. Want to sound more like a natural English speaker? I bet you do. But sometimes it's not about learning more words.
Right.
It's about using the words you already know better, you know? And today we're going to deep dive into one of the best ways to improve your fluency instantly.
Yeah.
Linking words, those little words that can make a big difference.
Huge difference.
Okay, so I've heard you say before that using linking words is like one of the keys to sounding more natural and fluent. But I've got to admit, like, I don't always think about them when I'm speaking. Like, what makes them so important?
Well, imagine you're listening to someone tell a story and they're just like stringing sentences together without any clear connection. It would be so hard to follow, you know? Linking words, they're like those little signposts that guide the listener through your thoughts and make your speech like way more coherent and engaging.
I love that. That's a great analogy. So it's not just about like grammar. It's actually about making your English easier to understand and also more enjoyable to listen to.
Exactly. And the cool thing about linking words is that you can use them in so many different ways. Like you can add information, you can highlight contrasts, explain cause and effect, give examples, like the list goes on.
Yeah. It does feel like a lot to keep track of. So how can we even begin to break down this world of linking words like into something more manageable?
You know what? It's actually not as overwhelming as it might seem.
Okay.
Like, let's start by just exploring some of the main categories.
Okay.
So one common category is linking words that just add information. Think of these as your and, also in addition words, but with a bit more finesse.
Ooh, finesse. I like that.
Yeah.
So instead of just saying it over and over again, I could use, a word like furthermore or moreover.
Exactly. Those words just add a touch more sophistication and they help you build on your previous points really smoothly. Like, for instance, you can say, I love learning new languages. Furthermore, it opens up a whole new world of experiences.
See, that sounds so much better than just saying it again.
Yeah.
Like, I can really hear how it creates, like, a more elegant flow.
Yeah.
What other types of linking words are there?
Well, another essential category is linking words that show contrast.
Okay.
These are however, on the other hand, words.
Okay.
They're crucial for highlighting differences and just adding depth to your argument.
I feel like I rely on, but way too much. Are there any other options that would make my English sound a little more varied?
Oh, absolutely. However is a great alternative, and it often creates a more formal and thoughtful tone.
Okay.
For example, you could say, I wanted to go to the party, however, I had an important deadline to meet.
I see. So, however, it's like it creates a sense of pause and deliberation, whereas but feels like more casual.
Yeah.
Are there any other contrast words that create like a different effect?
Yes. If you want to emphasize a surprising contrast, you could use nevertheless or nonetheless. These words add a dramatic flair.
Okay.
And they signal that something unexpected is about to happen.
So that's interesting. So if I wanted to say that I aced a test, even though I didn't study, I could say, I didn't have much time to prepare. Nevertheless, I managed to get a perfect score.
Exactly.
Okay.
And nevertheless emphasizes the surprising outcome, and it makes your achievement even more impressive.
Yeah. Wow. I'm starting to see how much nuance there is to using linking words correctly. It's not just like memorizing a list of words.
Right.
It's about like understanding how they create different effects.
Yeah.
And choosing the best one for the situation.
You got it. That's what separates fluent speakers from those who are still learning. It's that ability to use language with precision and artistry.
This is so inspiring. I'm already feeling more confident about experimenting with different linking words. What other categories should we explore?
Well, another important one is linking words that express cause and effect.
Okay.
These words help you explain why things happen and show the logical connections between events.
Oh, right. So words like because, therefore, as a result, those all kind of fall into this category.
Yes. They're essential for explaining the reasons behind your actions, for building coherent arguments. For instance, you could say, I missed the bus this morning. As a result, I was late for work.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. As a result, it clearly shows the consequence of missing the bus. It's like that domino effect, like one action leads to another.
And you can use different linking words to create different levels of emphasis, too.
Okay.
Therefore, often implies a stronger cause and effect relationship than, say, so.
This is making me realize how much I can improve my English by paying more attention to these subtle differences.
And that's the beauty of language learning. There's always something new to discover, and the more you explore, the more fluent and confident you'll become.
I'm so glad we're having this conversation.
So, yeah.
I'm already feeling more motivated to like level up my linking word game.
Good.
What other categories should we explore before we move on?
So we talked about adding information, contrast, cause and effect.
Yeah.
How about we move on to a category that's all about like clarity?
Okay.
Giving examples.
Okay.
This is where words like, for example, for instance, such as come into play. They really help you illustrate your points and make your ideas more concrete.
Yeah. I feel like I use like all the time for that.
Yeah.
Is that okay, or should I be aiming for something a bit more sophisticated?
You know, like, it's fine for casual conversation, but if you want to sound more polished, professional.
Okay.
Try incorporating those other phrases into your speech and your writing.
Okay, so instead of saying, I enjoy outdoor activities like hiking and kayaking, I could say, I enjoy outdoor activities such as hiking and kayaking.
Exactly. Yeah. It adds a touch of formality, makes your examples stand out more clearly. And plus, using a variety of linking words just makes your English sound more dynamic, engaging.
Okay, I'm definitely going to try that. It's amazing how these small changes can make such a big difference in how I sound.
Yeah, and don't underestimate the power of sequencing words either.
Oh, right.
These are your first, then, next, and finally words.
Okay.
They're so essential for explaining processes, telling stories, giving instructions in a clear and logical order.
Oh, right. Okay, so if I'm, like, explaining how to bake a cake, I could use those words to, like, guide the listener through each step.
Exactly. You could say something like, first, preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Then combine the dry ingredients in a bowl. Next, cream together the butter and sugar. And finally, pour the batter into a greased pan and bake for 30 minutes.
That's so helpful. It creates like a clear roadmap for the listener to follow. Makes the instructions much easier to understand.
Yeah.
Like, I never realized how important those little sequencing words are.
They're the unsung heroes of clear communication.
They are.
And let's not forget about the final touch, right? Summarizing and concluding.
Okay.
This is where words like in conclusion, to sum up, in summary, come in handy. They signal to your listener that you're wrapping up your thoughts and bringing everything together.
Yeah, I can see how those words create a sense of closure and help the listener, like, retain those key points.
Totally.
It's like tying a neat little bow on a package.
Exactly. Yeah. They add a touch of polish and professionalism to your communication.
This has been so eye-opening, honestly. I'm starting to see linking words everywhere now.
Yeah.
I never realized how much they, like, impact the flow and clarity of language.
Then that's the first step to mastering them, right?
Yeah.
Becoming aware of their presence and their purpose. Once you start paying attention, you'll be amazed at how often they pop up in everyday conversation and writing.
I'm definitely going to be more mindful about how I use linking words from now on. I have a feeling it's going to make a big difference in my fluency and confidence.
I have no doubt about it.
Awesome. So now let's talk about some practical techniques for putting this knowledge into action.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready to level up my linking word game. What are some, like, fun and effective ways to practice?
Well, one technique I find super effective is highlighting linking words while you read.
Okay.
Like, grab an article, a blog post, a chapter from a book, and get out your highlighter.
Ooh, I like that. So like a treasure hunt for linking word.
Totally.
And that really forces you to think about how the author is using them to connect ideas and create that flow.
Exactly. You start to notice those patterns and see how these tiny words contribute to the overall coherence of the writing.
Another technique I recommend is what I call mini writing challenges.
Okay.
Choose a simple topic.
Okay.
Set a timer, let's say, for like 5 minutes, and try to write a paragraph incorporating as many different linking words as you can.
Ooh, fun.
Right.
It's like a little game to test my knowledge and creativity.
Totally.
What kind of topics could we use for these challenges?
Anything that sparks your interest.
Okay.
It could be something simple like my favorite hobby.
Yeah.
Or like a memorable travel experience.
Okay.
Or even the pros and cons of social media.
Okay.
The key is just to focus on using a variety of those linking words to express your ideas clearly and logically.
I'm already thinking about all the different linking words I could use
Yeah.
to describe my recent trip to Italy. I could talk about the food, the architecture, the people,
Exactly.
and all while practicing those transitions. Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment with different types too, right? Adding information, showing contrast, cause and effect, giving those examples.
Yeah. I'm actually getting excited to write again. I used to think of writing as like a chore, but now I'm like, I see it as an opportunity to play with language and improve my fluency. What other techniques do you recommend?
Flashcards are a classic for a reason.
Yeah.
Write the linking word on one side of the card, its meaning, and like an example sentence on the other. This just helps to solidify that word and its usage in your mind.
Yeah, flashcards are great. They're portable, so I can use them anytime, anywhere. And also, like, the act of creating them really helps to reinforce the information.
It's a multisensory learning experience, engages your visual and your kinesthetic senses.
Yeah.
And of course, don't forget the power of conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Find a language partner, a tutor, a friend who's also learning English, and practice using those linking words in real time.
Yes, conversation is where the rubber meets the road. It's one thing to, like, understand linking words in theory.
Yeah.
But it's quite another to be able to use them spontaneously and naturally, like when speaking.
You hit the nail on the head. Conversation provides that context, the pressure to think on your feet, which is essential for fluency development.
I've noticed that, like, sometimes I freeze up in conversations because I'm trying to remember, like, the right linking word, and it's like my brain just goes blank.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for overcoming that?
That's a common challenge, and it's often a sign that you're overthinking it.
Okay.
The key is to relax.
Okay.
Focus on the meaning you want to convey. Trust that the words will come. Remember, fluency is more about communicating effectively than using perfect grammar or vocabulary.
Okay, so it's more about, like, conveying my message clearly and confidently than it is about stressing over every single word. Phew, that's a relief.
Precisely. And remember, even native speakers don't always use perfect grammar or vocabulary. Fluency is a journey, not a destination. It's about continually striving to improve your communication skills while also embracing those little imperfections along the way.
I love that perspective. Like, it takes the pressure off and it allows me to just enjoy the process of learning and growing.
Totally.
Any other pearls of wisdom before we wrap up?
One final thought for you. Pay attention to the world around you.
Okay.
Listen to how people use language. Observe how they connect their ideas. Notice those subtle nuances of communication. It's like becoming a language detective.
Okay.
Constantly searching for clues and patterns.
So it's about becoming more aware of language, like in all its forms, not just in textbooks or classrooms.
Exactly. Language is a living, breathing entity that's constantly evolving. The more you immerse yourself in it, the more you'll discover its beauty, its complexity, and its power to connect us all.
What a beautiful way to end our deep dive into linking words. I feel inspired and empowered to continue exploring the world of English and all its intricacies.
Awesome. I'm so glad.
Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today. This has been truly enlightening.
It's been my pleasure. I have no doubt that you'll continue to make amazing progress on your language learning adventure.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's episode of Chat Like a Native. A huge thank you to all of our listeners for joining us on this exciting exploration of linking words. Remember, these small but mighty words are the key to unlocking fluency and expressing yourselves with clarity and confidence. So keep practicing, stay curious, and most importantly, have fun with it. Until next time, happy chatting.